Why most people don't find peace is not because peace is impossible, but because they are looking for it in all the wrong places. They chase external things, thinking that in wealth, in relationships, in achievements, they will find the calm they seek. They believe that if they can control the world around them, they will control the turbulence within. But this is the great illusion, the grand deception that keeps men and women restless, anxious, and tormented by their own minds. Peace is not out there. It is not in the approval of others, nor in the accumulation of possessions, nor in the fleeting moments of victory over an opponent. It is within. But most people do not turn inward, because to do so requires them to face the truth about themselves. And the truth is often uncomfortable. It strips away the illusions. It removes the masks. It forces one to confront the parts of themselves they have long avoided. But until this is done, until the soul is purified of its false desires, there can be no peace. Most people are at war with themselves. They live according to the desires of the flesh while neglecting the needs of the soul. They indulge every whim, chase every pleasure, pursue every distraction, and then wonder why they feel empty. They believe peace will come when they satisfy their cravings, but the more they feed the fire, the stronger it burns. The appetite of desire is never full, it only grows hungrier, and so they are trapped in an endless cycle of chasing, acquiring, and losing, never realizing that the peace they seek comes not from having more, but from needing less. The man who desires nothing cannot be disturbed. He is beyond the reach of the world's chaos because he has found stability within. He does not worry about the opinions of others because he does not seek their validation. He does not fear loss because he has nothing to lose that truly belongs to him. His peace is not dependent on what happens around him, but on the discipline of his own mind. And so he moves through life, untouched by the storms that shake others. But most people refuse to embrace discipline. They avoid discomfort, seeking only ease. They run from hardship, thinking it is an enemy, when in reality, it is the path to peace. A mind untested by struggle remains weak. A spirit untouched by difficulty remains fragile. And so they live in fear, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of pain. They avoid challenges, not realizing that by doing so, they deny themselves the very strength that would bring them peace. Peace is not found in the absence of struggle, but in the ability to remain unmoved by it. The Stoics knew this. They understood that to find peace, one must first master oneself. And self-mastery is not easy. It requires sacrifice, discipline, and an unshakable commitment to truth. But most people do not want truth. They want comfort. They do not want wisdom. They want entertainment. They do not want to grow. They want to be coddled. And so they remain restless, lost in the noise of the world, never realizing that silence is where peace begins. A man cannot be at peace if he is ruled by his emotions. Anger, jealousy, pride, these are the enemies of tranquility. And yet, how many people spend their days consumed by these things? They allow themselves to be provoked by the actions of others, to be offended by words, to be controlled by circumstances beyond their command. They believe that others are the cause of their suffering, when in reality, their suffering comes from their own inability to govern themselves. No man has the power to upset you unless you give it to him. No event has the power to disturb your mind unless you allow it. You are not a slave to the world. You are a slave only to your own lack of discipline. But most people do not accept this. They would rather blame others than take responsibility for their own peace. They complain about their circumstances, about how unfair life is, about how others have wronged them. But peace does not come to those who complain. It comes to those who take control. The moment you realize that nothing external can truly harm you, you will begin to find peace. The opinions of others do not define you. The actions of others do not control you. The past cannot haunt you unless you allow it. The future cannot frighten you unless you dwell on it. All suffering comes from within, and so does all peace. But most people do not understand this, because they have spent their entire lives looking outward, searching for something outside themselves to fill the emptiness within. The wise man does not seek peace in the world. He brings peace to the world by first finding it within himself. He does not chase distractions because he understands that peace comes in stillness. He does not seek validation because he knows that peace comes from self-acceptance. He does not live in fear because he has accepted the impermanence of all things. He is content not because he has everything, but because he needs nothing. And so he walks through life untouched, free, and at peace. But most people refuse to walk this path because it is difficult. It is far easier to blame, to indulge, to distract oneself with the noise of the world than it is to sit in silence and face the truth. And so they remain lost, restless, tormented by their own minds. They live their lives in pursuit of what will never bring them peace, only to arrive at the end and wonder why they never found it. The truth is simple, yet difficult to accept. Peace is not something you find. It is something you create. It is not given to you by the world. It is earned through mastery of yourself. And until you understand this, you will remain as so many do, searching for something that was within you all along. To master the self, one must cultivate a strong mind, one that does not yield to the fluctuations of fortune or the whims of others. Training the mind to be still, to be resilient, to be detached from fleeting emotions is the key to lasting peace. The Stoics trained themselves daily, reminding themselves that they control only their thoughts and actions, nothing else. They practiced gratitude not for material wealth, but for the ability to endure and remain steadfast in the face of adversity. They knew that peace is not a gift, it is a practice. It is not a destination but a way of living. It requires constant vigilance, an awareness of one's thoughts and impulses, a refusal to be led astray by desires or fears. Most people falter because they wish to arrive at peace without walking the path. But the path is necessary. It is through hardship that strength is forged, through trials that wisdom is gained, through discipline that peace is secured. And so, if one truly seeks peace, let him begin now. Let him reject distractions. Let him silence the noise. Let him embrace the stillness. For in the stillness, he will find what so many spend their lives searching for, yet never obtain.